Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Navigating with Key. My name is Kenneth Enelja Senime, KEA, and I'm your host on this program. It's been a while since I stood in front of the camera like this to record an episode of this program. I'm sure some of you may have heard why, but for those who haven't, I will share a very short story about it. The months of April and May are very interesting months in my family, as six out of a family of 10, dad, mom, and 8 siblings were born in the months of April and May. So each of these months have 3 people in them. So April and May, we get to celebrate 3 birthdays each year, and that continued until 2009 when my dad passed on in the month of May. So May became 3 birthdays and a burial. Or should I say death? Well, that's how it was. And that continued until this year. April, the very, very last day of the month of April. And by the way, my oldest brother, my mom, and myself were all born in the month of April. So April 30th this year, my mom passed. I think was it a way of just balancing up those 2 months? Anyway, so yes, I've been in grief ever since mourning the loss of my mom. She's such a phenomenal woman, loves so deeply. She's always at peace with everyone around her, even those who tag themselves her enemy. She was at peace with them. So it has been a real challenge for me to come in front of the camera to talk and make a video. And believe me, I've tried. I tried like 3 different times. And every time I stood there, get all the camera things and everything set, and I begin to talk, I just break down halfway. Sometimes I don't even make it into a minute into the video. I just break down. So I guess I was still in the healing process. So today, I said to myself, I will give it one more shot. And I told myself, I will post the video no matter how it comes out. Whether I break down and cry in the middle, whatever the situation is, I'm just going to post it so that I don't hold back myself. All right. And if today I don't make it to the end of this video, please just be patient with me. Um, Wait for the next episode and we'll continue. But I'll try, I'll hold myself together and go through today's episode. Oh gosh. Anyway, so today, uh, through this, nothing really prepares you for the passing of a loved one. You know, sometimes you feel you're prepared, you know, maybe because the person is old, right? Ripe age, like we would say, or maybe the person is sick and you made up your mind, you've calculated and like, okay, it will be better or not better in a sense, but it will be okay if the person passes on. After all, the person has lived a long and happy life. But you see, when it eventually happens, the heart tends to forget all the rationalities the head has made and just pulls you into an intense feeling that cannot be explained. You know, no words can correctly capture the feeling of losing a loved one. So today, I'll be talking on dealing with the grief of losing a loved one. So if you're ready, let's slide into today's reflection. Let's do this. So let me start by giving a shout out to my mom, Mrs. B.O. Asenime, a kind, soft spoken woman who loved people deeply. She passed at age 85 and she lived a beautiful life. A gentle voice that sometimes turns into fire when you cross the wrong line is one I will miss greatly. In her later years, she turned into a prayer ATM. That's what I call her. So when I call her on the phone and we get talking, she just loads me with prayers. So each time I feel like I have a deficit of prayer, I just give her a ring. Well, that sounds selfish, but that's how she turned out in her later years. She was just praying and praying and praying. You could call her and speak for 5 minutes, and 3.5 of that 5 minutes she's just praying. So I thank God for her words of prayers. They are guiding me even up to this very moment, right? So losing someone you love changes life in ways words can rarely capture. Grief is not just sadness or the heartbreak you feel, it is the painful adjustment to absence. That gradual realization that you will no longer hear that voice, a dawning that you will never see that person again. Absence in those places you regularly see the person. Oh gosh, absence is just the crazy part of this whole thing. The world is moving, but you are stuck to what you have lost. One of the hardest thing about losing a loved one is that the world keeps moving. People return to routines while you are still trying to even understand how life has changed so much for you suddenly. And I need to know this, that grief comes in waves. Some days they feel quite manageable. But other days, even a small memory like a song, a picture, probably a familiar place can bring everything back again. Then you break down and you begin to cry. But that does not mean you are weak or failing to heal. It's just a reminder that love leaves a deeper impression than we can ever imagine. I have come to learn that there is no perfect timeline for grief. Your healing cannot be forced. As much as we want to force these things to change, these emotions cannot always be controlled. You can't always control it. Some losses will stay with you almost forever. Some can stay with you for a very long time. So now listen to this. Dealing with grief does not mean forgetting the person you lost. Sometimes people intentionally hold on to grief, as they will say it's the only thing they have left of the person they lost. Dealing with grief means learning how to carry their memory while continuing to live life on your own terms. Carrying on their memory while living life, while living your own life. The truth is, you may never fully move on, but over time, you can learn to move forward. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is allow yourself to feel what you feel without pretending you are okay before you truly are. You don't stop loving someone just because they are gone, right? Love does not disappear because that person no longer exists or the person is no longer physically with you. The truth is, love just changes form. It becomes sweet memories. It becomes gratitude for the time you spent together with that person. It becomes reflections of the days, the quarrels even that you had with the person, things you learned, hanging out, being with that person. So if you've lost someone, it's okay to cry. And boy, I have cried these few weeks. It's okay to feel sad. But whatever way you are dealing with the grief, it is important to know that time heals everything. The pain and sadness you feel today will not be the same after a few months or years. I need you to know that. whatever pain you're feeling right now, whatever grief you have in your heart, give it time, it will pass. But if you, because of grief, get into habits or addictions of any kind, that will likely stay with you even after you are able to deal and feel better. And that in itself is a different matter altogether. All right. So I have seen people who turn to alcohol to help them deal with grief. They drink to numb the pain. And then 1 year later, time, the wonderful healer, completes his job. And the pain is no longer there. But now the person has become an alcoholic. I've seen people who, because they were dealing with some kind of heartbreak, got into drugs to help calm themselves down, to help deal with the situation. But then time passes and they are no longer feeling the pain of whatever it was, maybe the loss of someone, maybe a failed relationship or whatever it is. Now, because they got into a habit to deal with that situation, which time in itself would deal with, they are now stuck with this new habit. Now, this is habits. It could be your health. Now, deal with maybe a blood pressure condition or whatever it is, right? So, no matter the way you grieve, whatever it is you're doing, it is important you do not carry a baggage out of it, a baggage of habits, a baggage of sickness. You shouldn't. Find a way to deal with it. Have people around you, people you can trust, that you can open up to. Cry if you have to. But I tell you, with time, you'll be able to deal with the situation. So don't end up hurting your life while you grieve. Don't end up hurting your life. Don't end up hurting your body. Don't end up hurting your relationships. Find a small circle of friends, maybe family members. Let them know how you feel. If you have to cry, like I said, go ahead, cry. Allow them to love you back to wellness. I personally know that my life has changed, and I'll be lying to myself if I say everything will go back to the way it was. But while she's gone now, my wife is here with me. My kids are here. My siblings are all here. My friends are here. They are all here. They all love me. And so I'll pick up myself and honor my mom's memory by being the best version of myself. And that's what I expect you to do too. Pick up yourself. Honor that person's memory by being the best version of yourself. Wow. It looks like I made it to the very end of today's broadcast. Thank you so very much for joining me on today's broadcast. It means so much to me knowing that there are people out there who listen and allow the messages we share to guide some of their life choices. So today, we'll be having our very first giveaway of the book Set Your Sail. So we'll be giving out free copies of the book Set Your Sail to the first 3 people to comment the title of the book Set Your Sail in the comment section. All right. So the book launch is on the 18th of September, and we're working really, really hard to get this book out because it's going to change lives. Trust me, it's going to change lives all around the world. All right. So till I come your way again, this is Kenneth Enioja Senime, KEA, saying keep navigating and have a wonderful time. Bye bye.